guys, welcome to my book talk for Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, The Ship of the Dead, the third and final book of the Gods of Asgard trilogy. But even though it's the final book in the trilogy, I feel like we haven't seen the last of these characters, because the ending really made it feel like there was more to come. Now that the series is complete, I think I would place it at my third favorite series of Gardens. Of course, Percy Jackson is the first one, and then the Heroes of Olympus, and then this series, then the Trials of Apollo series would be my next favorite, even though it's not finished. But the Kane Chronicles is coming in at dead last, and it's basically because I found Egyptian mythology was actually really confusing at first, and the pacing of those three books was just so incredibly slow. It took me like, what, a month and a half to finish those books. Now, out of this trilogy, I can't really decide on a favorite. The Hammer of Thor and the Ship of the Dead are kind of like tied, and then The Sword of Summer is my least favorite. Even though usually the first book in a series are my favorites, I've just changed my opinion of it since my reread. The pacing was just really slow, and I found myself dragging my feet through the entire book. When I first finished Ship of the Dead, I would immediately give it a 5 stars because it confirmed my OTP for the series, but overall it's really a 4 out of 5 stars for me. Okay, so past this point, there are going to be a whole lot of spoilers for the book. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I highly suggest that you stop watching now and go read the book. So, bye non-spoilery people! Okay, so going into this book, we all knew from the ending of the Hammer of Thor that Percy was going to be in this book at least a little bit. I did not get my hopes up to think that Percy would be in the entire book. He would join the crew of the Big Banana and he would just help us through all of our trials and tribulations. Lord knows they needed the help at several points. But I wasn't expecting him to play a big role in the book. So my disappointment levels when he left were very low. What didn't disappoint me at all were all of the Malix moments toward the end. Technically, they aren't together officially, but that's one of the things that makes me feel like our time with these characters isn't over yet. I mean, all but Sam is going to live for a very long time, so it is possible that a lot more could happen in this world. Now, this whole book was leading up to the point that Magnus would challenge Loki to a flighting. And I think we all were like, what the heck is a flighting? And personally, when I found out that a flighting was an insult battle, I was skeptical that they'd be able to take down Loki using this method. Especially since insults and getting into people's heads is one of Loki's strong suits. And the battle itself was kind of disappointing because Loki at least insulted Magnus, where Magnus went in a circle and complimented all of his friends. Which is a very Magnus thing to do, but I feel like that wouldn't be enough to take down Loki. And these are all the things that Magnus could have said without the Cavasier mead. I mean, is it possible that the mead just boosted his mental confidence so that he could speak out to Loki? And that's another reason why the flighting was so disappointing, because it took pretty much the entire book to get this mead, and it didn't seem to do anything. I mean, from fighting rock giants with clay warriors to killing Hearth's father, who had turned into a cursed ring dragon. I wish Hearth hadn't had to face his father again, but I'm also very glad that that is all tied up and he no longer has to go to Elfheim if he doesn't want to. Then we have Mallory meeting her mother, Frigg. And when I got to this part, all I could think is, what the frig? Because Frigg has a very calm and laid-back presence, where Mallory and her hot-headedness was really getting on my nerves, and I wanted to throw her overboard off the Big Banana halfway through the trip. Even her quick thinking to get past the giant slaves didn't make up for how annoying of a character she became in this book. And it also led to one of the funniest moments in the book for me, and that was Magnus acquiring his Dr. Dolittle powers, so now he can understand and talk to animals. And I don't know if that power would also expand to like supernatural animals like Pegasus and krakens, and all of the other mythological animals that are in the world. And I really want to learn if that's a possibility. And if he were to keep this power, I feel like it would be very useful in another story. All in all, when you think about all the hardships they had to go through just to get this mead, it made the flight team very anticlimactic. And of course, after they defeat Loki, they have a meeting with the gods, all of whom are stupid enough to agree to give Loki the same punishment as he had before. Why? It obviously didn't work the first time. It's not going to work the second time. And Odin's excuse that they couldn't change his punishment because that was the way it's written in Destiny to start Ragnarok, it's like, no. No, Loki made a good point in saying that little choices you make can change your destiny. And just changing his punishment, yes, it could speed up Ragnarok a few years, but it could also delay it a few centuries. It's like, at least consider the options for another punishment without just jumping straight into it. They even had things ready for this punishment. It's like, they really never learn. And speaking of Odin, someone needs to give that god a PowerPoint presentation on how to reward heroes, because letting them live or giving them a bathrobe is not a reward. Well, I guess getting to keep your life is a reward, but it's not what I'm getting at. Can I just say how awkward it is that they're having this meeting where they're all destined to die at Ragnarok? Who decided that this would be a good place to have a meeting? Ultimately, this meeting with the gods was my least favorite part of the book. Now, my favorite parts of the book are the two kisses between Alex and Magnus. Now, of the two, the second kiss would be my favorite because during the first kiss, they were battling hypothermia, and it was like one of those things where I'm not gonna die without doing this first. Where the second kiss, it was very spur of the moment, and my favorite part of that kiss was the fact that not only was Alex a boy, but Magnus was also covered in chocolate. It was just a very awkward moment to be kissed, and I loved it. Now, my second favorite part of the books is my second OTP, Herth and Blitzen decide that they're going to move into the Chase space to take care of the kids there. It's kind of like they adopted all of these kids, and them just being together and acting as parents is just so cute and makes me ship them together so much more. Well, those are all my thoughts, opinions, and feelings about the Ship of the Dead. You guys should let me know how you felt about the book. What was your favorite parts? What was your least favorite parts? Do you think there's going to be more books with these characters? Or do you feel like we're just being trolled? Let me know. But for now, that is the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!